2016 to 2017 Victory Magnum, Magnum X1. Victory may be the new kid on the block amongst American motorcycle manufacturers, but it has some significant advantages that new builders seldom enjoy. Namely, it falls under the Polaris umbrella, and benefits from the deep pockets and technical expertise that Polaris brings to the table. Victory started out making cruisers with an eye toward capturing a slice of the domestic market, and at this point it's fair to say they have succeeded in gaining more than just a toehold and are beginning to pose a serious threat to the old guard brands such as Harley-Davidson and Indian. Well, okay, the threat to Indian is more of a case of Polaris taking some wind out of its own sails since the Indian brand also falls under their purview, but the point remains valid: Victory is gaining momentum. Join me whilst I take a look at the Magnum family, and let's see if we can smoke out the reasons behind its burgeoning popularity. One advantage to being new in the game is Victory has no deep roots or established style to try to work into its designs. The designers started with a blank slate, and pulled in the collective expertise of the Ness family, whose influence contributed heavily to the sweeping lines that give the Magnum a certain flow the other American heavies lack. Granted, appreciation of this characteristic is entirely subject to taste, but it does offer an alternative to the more traditional looks prevalent amongst HD and Indian models. The factory cut down on the depth of the front fender skirts to show off as much of the front wheel as possible while leaving the full length for spray and debris control. A short front fairing and windshield provide some protection for the rider, and it lends the Magnum family a certain raciness that gets bolstered by the scoop fairing that conceals the front downtubes. The upper lines plummet across the tank to the deep saddle, made to look all the more deeper by the stadium-style offset at the pillion seat. In the back, the lines of the fender fall off dramatically, a curvature matched by the hard saddlebags that leaves them looking more of an integral part of the bike, rather than a bolt-on accessory. Housed within the fairings and the bags is the sound system that lets you share your favorite music with the class, as it were. While the Magnum comes with a 100-watt system and 6 speakers, the X1 pumps up the volume with a 200-watt system and a total of 10 speakers for your listening pleasure. Victory gave us the X1 Stealth Edition in 2016. This is a reference to the monochrome, stealth gray paint scheme and not any actual furtive qualities, because between the stereo and the exhaust note, the X1 is about as subtle as a tornado. Bike Notto, anyone? Anyone? The regular X1 is anything but stealthy in bright pearl white with platinum overlay and an electric red hand-applied pinstripe, their boldest color scheme yet. Magnum X1 Stealth Edition. When one designs a frame for a bike with a 784-pound dry weight, and a 1,310-pound GVWR, all thoughts of trying to keep the bones of the beast dainty and petite go right out the window. Most of the frame comes concealed from view by the ample body panels, but the little glimpse we get at the steering head speaks to a solid, strong build. The steering head angle gives us a 29-degree rake with 5.6 inches of trail, numbers that are sure to prove stable on the long and straight, but are likely to leave the Magnum feeling a bit reluctant in the turns. That is, unless you are drift savvy and know how to flat track that sucker around the bends, 'cause the Magnum will certainly accommodate such treatment with aplomb. A set of 43mm, blackout, upside-down cartridge forks stiffen the front end and provide 5.1 inches of wheel travel, but offer none of the adjustments one might expect to see on such a performance-minded machine. The rear monoshock is a little more accommodating, as it comes with an adjustable air reserve for nearly infinite, and infinitesimal, ride adjustment through its 4.4-inch range of motion. A 21-inch front wheel and 16-inch rear lends the rolling gear an asymmetrical look that plays right into the custom panache, as does the actual wheel construction that sports large flats that catch the light for a bit of extra bling. Now, the base model Magnum comes with sharp-looking, cast wheels, but the X1 takes it a step further with billet aluminum wheels. For those of you wondering what billet is, It means the factory took a solid block of stock and milled away everything that wasn't part of the wheel. It's an expensive process, but it produces a superior product, so billet is good, okay? The brakes necessarily come in a conventional, non-linked format, otherwise how could you pull off those awesome drifting maneuvers, right? A pair of 4-pot calipers pinch the dual, 300mm discs up front, while a twin-pot caliper binds the 300mm disc in back. Plus, ABS protection adds a safety net to help prevent problems associated with overbraking, a very good thing considering the braking power inherent in such a setup and the heavy forces involved with controlling a bike that could potentially weigh 2/3 of a short ton when fully loaded. As of late, the major American manufacturers have been busy responding to domestic demand for increased V-twin performance. HD, Indian and Star offers some big, 110-inch or better mills, and Victory is nipping at their heels with the Freedom 106.6 engine. This mill cranks out 106 pound-feet of torque, plenty to qualify it for the power cruiser category. A large part of the overall torque is due to the long-stroke engine layout. The 101mm bore and 108mm stroke leaves the 50-degree V-twin a bit under square, just what you want for stump-pulling grunt. 4 valve heads and dual, 45mm throttle bodies let the big jugs breathe, and large bore mufflers vent the waste gases. You can open the circuit up even more to add horsepower, torque and a more authoritative exhaust note with the Stage 1 tri-oval exhaust accessory. Instead of a chain, the Freedom 106 uses a gear-type, primary drive to carry power from the engine to the tranny. A compensator helps to smooth the power pulses a bit before they hit the wet clutch and the 6-speed, overdrive ratio, constant mesh transmission. The final connection to the rear wheel comes courtesy of the belt and pulley final drive. Magnum X1. The Magnum rolls off the floor for $23,099 MSRP with 3 choices of livery for 2016, suede pearl white with black and silver, black crystal, super steel gray or black crystal, Havasa red. For 2017, Victory offers the Magnum in gloss black, Habanero Inferno orange, or Indie red pearl, each color with graphic same monochrome stealth gray finish with blackout treatment represents the only package available for the X1 Stealth Edition, and it rolls for $23,499. MSRP on the regular X1 for 2017 is $24,499 and it comes in pearl white with platinum overlay and electric red pinstripe. The Boulevard Bruiser look is gaining in popularity, so I decided to look to the brand that helped define that look, Harley-Davidson and its Street Glide. Both rides fit the Bruiser mold perfectly with understated front fairings, short but wide rear ends and tapered pillion pads, though there is certainly more of a flow to the lines on the Magnum compared to the Street Glide. The flow is where the Ness family DNA becomes apparent, and it offers an alternative to the more traditional HD lines. Still the king of paint, Harley offers the Street Glide in 5 solid colors, plus a pair of 2-tone finishes for a bit more in the way of color options. The base Street Glide comes with the twin-cam 103 that displaces 1,687 cc and generates 104.7 pound-feet of torque, just a little shy of the Freedom 106, and close enough to not be a point of contention. Pricing is also close enough for government work, with the Magnum family falling within the $23K bracket, and the Street Glide covering $21 through $24K, depending on color choice, ABS and security options.